The Shadowing Secret. Unlock your best English voice. Introduction. Picture this. You speak English so well, it's like a smooth song. Your words are easy for everyone to understand. You talk in meetings, meet new people, or just share your thoughts, and people get you right away. No long pauses, no forgetting words. Your accent sounds like you, and it helps you connect, not push people away. It feels great, right? It feels like being sure of yourself. It feels like you. But maybe this isn't how it is for you right now. You've tried hard. You know the grammar rules and have learned many words. But when you speak, it feels a little off. Maybe you say a sentence again, trying to get the sound right, and it makes you feel a bit shy. Do people sometimes ask you to say things again? Or worse, do they not understand what you mean because of how you sound? It can feel like your good ideas are hidden behind your English. It's not because you're not smart or don't try hard. Sometimes you just need the missing piece to sound natural. What if there's a way to fix this? A way to go from knowing English to truly sounding like you speak English. We often learn English like building with blocks, focusing on words and rules, but we forget the music of the language, how the sounds fit together. This book will show you how to find that music. It will help you find your best English voice, a voice that is clear, sounds natural, and is truly yours. The special trick for this change is called shadowing. Have you heard of it? It's what actors, singers, and language learners everywhere use to sound so natural. So, what is shadowing? It's listening to someone who speaks English like they grew up with it, and then trying to say the same words at the same time they do. You become like an echo, a shadow of their voice. Think of a musician learning a song. They don't just read the notes. They listen to a master play it many times, trying to copy every small detail, every feeling, every perfect sound. That's what shadowing does for your speaking. Shadowing is amazing because it teaches your mouth, your tongue, and your ears in a way that grammar books cannot. It helps your voice learn the natural flow, the ups and downs of sentences, and the small sounds that make English sound so smooth. It's like being in the sound of English without going anywhere. You're not just learning words. You're learning to feel and sound like someone who speaks English naturally. It's a direct way to get the real sound of the English language. In the next parts, we will learn about this wonderful technique together. You will learn exactly how to practice shadowing, what to listen to, and how to make it a fun habit. We will see how it can make your pronunciation better, your speaking flow more naturally, and your confidence grow. You will learn how to get past any small problems and make shadowing truly work for you. Are you ready to stop struggling and start speaking English better? Are you ready to hear yourself sound clearer, more sure of yourself, and more like the natural English speaker you've always wanted to be? The way to your best English voice is here. Let's start this exciting journey of shadowing together. 1. Understanding English sounds. Learning a new language can feel like cracking a secret code. You see letters, you know how they sound in your language, but when you hear English, it's like a song you can't quite grasp. This is especially true for English sounds. Many people think knowing how a word is written means knowing how to say it. But English spelling and sound are often different. Look at the letters OUGH. Your brain might say, I know this. But then you hear words like through sounds like through, tough sounds like tough, those sounds like though, and cough sounds like cough. The same letters make very different sounds. This is why, when learning English, you must listen carefully to the sounds. Don't always trust the spelling. Your ears are your best guides. I remember when I was new to English. I was in a small cafe and wanted tea. I thought I knew how to say it. I want a cup of tea. But the waiter looked confused. He brought me a cup of tea. Yes, a necktie. We both laughed, but it taught me something important. The small change between T and tie is just a tiny shift in a vowel sound, but it changed everything. It showed me that understanding the small parts, the sounds, is the first big step to speaking clearly. It's about training your ears to hear these differences. English sounds are like the building blocks of speaking. We can put them into two main groups, vowels and consonants. Let's start with vowels. Think of vowels as breathy, open sounds. They are the core of every syllable. English has many vowel sounds, more than many other languages. This can be difficult because even small changes in how you make a vowel sound can change the word you mean. For example, the difference between ship and sheep is the I sound. In ship, your tongue is a bit lower and more relaxed. In sheep, your tongue is higher and stretched a little more to the front of your mouth. It's a small difference, but it's the difference between talking about a small boat and a woolly animal. Then we have consonants. These are sounds where your airflow is stopped or changed by your tongue, lips, or teeth. Some consonant sounds are common in many languages, but a few in English can be very confusing. One of the most famous tricky sounds is TH. English has two TH sounds. There's this sound in words like think, three, and thanks. To make this sound, gently put the tip of your tongue between your front teeth and let air out. It's a soft, airy sound. Then there's the TH sound in words like this, that, and the. For this sound, do the same with your tongue, but also make your voice vibrate. You can feel a buzz in your throat. Many languages don't have these sounds, so learners might use an S or a D sound instead, which can make words hard to understand. Another sound that often causes problems is the English R. In some languages, the R sound is made by rolling your tongue. In English, it's different. Your tongue curls back a little, or the tip of your tongue gets close to the roof of your mouth without touching it, and you push air through. It's a softer, more rounded sound. And what about the difference between V and W? In English, V is made by touching your top teeth to your bottom lip and vibrating your voice, like in very or voice. The W sound is made by rounding your lips and pushing air out, like in water or window. Sometimes, these can get mixed up, and very might sound like worry. But English pronunciation isn't just about making individual sounds correctly. It's also about how those sounds are put together. This is where intonation and rhythm come in. Think about how we speak. We don't say every word with the same loudness or at the same speed. We put more importance on certain words and parts of words. This is called stress. In English, there's word stress. Which part of a word gets the loudest push? For example, in the word important, the stress is on the last part, important. If you stress the wrong part, like I am important, it can sound a bit odd. Then there's sentence stress. In a sentence, we usually stress the words that carry the most meaning. This helps the listener understand what is important. For instance, in the sentence I want a cup of tea, the words want and tea are more important than I, a, and cup. When you stress these key words, the sentence flows more naturally. English also has a special rhythm. It's called stress-timed. This means that the stress parts of a sentence tend to happen at about the same speed, no matter how many unstressed parts are in between. Imagine a drummer keeping a steady beat. The stressed parts are like the main beats, and the unstressed parts are the quicker taps in between. This gives English its special musical feel. When you hear someone speak English with a natural rhythm, it sounds smooth and flowing. So, how do we actually make these sounds? Our mouths are like amazing musical instruments. Our lips, our tongue, our teeth, our jaw, they all work together in very exact ways to create that different sounds of English. To make a P sound, close your lips tightly and then pop them open. For an F sound, Put your top teeth on your bottom lip and blow. For a vowel sound like E as in sheep, raise your tongue high in the front of your mouth. Understanding these physical actions is key to copying them. It's like a musician learning how to place their fingers on an instrument. You need to know where your tongue should go, how your lips should shape, and when to use your voice to make a sound. Now, let's go back to that moment in the cafe. Why was it so important for me to listen carefully and understand the difference between T and Thai? Because English is a language that relies on sound. While letters give us a clue, they are not always the whole story. The way words are put together, the rise and fall of your voice, the rhythm, all of these are just as important as saying each individual sound perfectly. For people who speak languages where spelling is very predictable, English can seem confusing. The same letter can make many sounds and the same sound can be written in many ways. This is exactly why the shadowing technique is so powerful. It skips the confusing spelling and goes straight to the source, the natural, spoken sound of English. When you shadow, you're not just repeating words, you're copying the music of the language. You're training your ears to hear those small differences between ship and sheep, or T and Thai. You're teaching your mouth to make those specific movements for the TH sound or the English R. Imagine trying to learn to sing a song by only reading the music without ever hearing it. You might know the notes, but you wouldn't know the feeling, the emotion, or the natural flow. Shadowing is like listening to the song and singing along, trying to match the singer's voice, their rhythm, and their emotion. When you start practicing shadowing, you'll begin to notice these sound details more and more. You'll start to hear the stress in words and sentences. You'll feel the rhythm. You'll become more aware of how your tongue and lips need to move. It's not about changing who you are or trying to sound like someone else completely. It's about finding your best English voice, making it clearer and easier for everyone to understand. It's about giving yourself the confidence to share your thoughts and ideas without your accent getting in the way. This journey into understanding English sounds is like learning the alphabet before you can write a story. It's the basic preparation that makes more advanced methods, like shadowing, work wonders. We're not just going to hear English anymore. We are going to start feeling it. Now that we've begun to understand the unique world of English sounds, we're ready to explore a powerful method that will help us not just hear these sounds, but truly feel and copy them. The next step is to learn how to become a master listener, preparing us for the art of shadowing. 2. Improving your accent. When you hear English spoken smoothly, it sounds like music. It seems so easy. You might wish your own English sounded like that. You want people to understand you easily, feel sure of yourself, and speak without your accent getting in the way. That's why we are here. The secret tool we'll talk about is called the shadowing technique. It's very strong. It's not about changing who you are, but about making your voice clearer, more like music, and truly yours in English. Think about how a baby learns to talk. They listen. They listen to their parents, their family, and everyone around them. They hear the sounds, the rhythm, and how voices go up and down. Then they try to copy it. They make noises and slowly, they get it right. Shadowing is like that, but for adults learning a new language. It helps you use the natural way we all learn. So, how does this simple act of listening and repeating change your accent? It works in a few very important ways. The first is about the tiny, exact movements your mouth and tongue make to create sounds. Making sounds just right. Every language has its own special sounds. English has sounds that might not be in your first language, and that's okay. For example, the TH sound, like in think or this, can be hard. Your tongue needs to be gently between your teeth, and air needs to flow over it. If your first language doesn't have this sound, your brain might try to use a similar sound, like S or D. This is where shadowing is very helpful. When you shadow, you don't just hear the word think. You hear the exact way the native speaker makes that TH sound. You watch their mouth. Are their lips round? Is their tongue high or low? Does the sound come from their throat or their mouth? By listening very carefully and trying to copy what you see and hear, you start to train your mouth muscles. You teach them to make those specific movements. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. You don't just hear the note, you have to learn how to press the key or pluck the string in a certain way to get that exact sound. Shadowing does this for your voice. You don't just repeat words, you repeat the physical actions that make those words. Let's look at another common problem, the difference between the short I sound in ship and the long E sound in sheep. Many people learning English mix these up. When you shadow someone saying I want to ship the sheep, you have to notice the small difference. The native speaker's mouth will be in a slightly different shape for each word. Their tongue might be higher or lower, more forward or back. By trying to copy that small difference in sound and mouth shape, you start to make that difference clearer in your own speech. You don't just hear ship and sheep as similar sounds anymore, you hear and then make the different sounds. This direct copying is a strong way to make your English sounds clear and sharp. The beat and flow of English, but English isn't just about single sounds. It's also about how those sounds are put together in words and sentences. Think of English as having a natural rhythm like a song. Some words in a sentence are more important and they get more stress or emphasis. Other words are said faster and softer. For example, look at this sentence, I want to go to the store. Notice how want, go, and store are stronger, while I, to, and the are softer and quicker. This is the rhythm of English. If you say every word with the same loudness and speed, it sounds strange, even if you say each word correctly. Shadowing is great for learning this rhythm. When you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat what they say at the same time, you're not just copying the words, you're copying their timing. You naturally try to match their speed, their pauses, and the stress they put on certain words. It's like dancing. You feel the music and move your body to it. With shadowing, you feel the rhythm of the English language and move your voice to it. This is very hard to learn from grammar books. They can tell you which words are usually stressed, but they can't give you the feeling of the rhythm. Shadowing gives you that feeling. You start to learn the natural flow. You begin to hear where the stresses naturally fall, and your own speech starts to have that same natural, pleasing rhythm. It makes your English sound less like a list of words and more like a connected, flowing stream of speech. This is important because putting stress in the wrong place can change the meaning or make you hard to understand. Imagine saying I want to go to the store, but stressing I into instead of the main action words. It would sound very odd, right? Shadowing helps you avoid this by making you copy the natural stress patterns you hear. The music of English, intonation besides individual sounds and sentence rhythm, there's another part that makes English sound alive, intonation. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice, the melody of your speech. It's how you can ask a question, show surprise, express doubt, or share excitement, all with the same words. Think about the sentence, you're going? If you say it with your voice going up at the end, it's a question. If you say it with your voice falling at the end, it sounds like you're surprised or confirming something. Native English speakers use intonation all the time, and it's a big part of sounding natural. If your intonation is flat or follows the patterns of your first language, your English might sound like a robot or even a little sad, even if you say individual words perfectly. Shadowing is like learning to sing in tune. When you shadow, you don't just repeat the words, you copy the pitch changes of the speaker. You try to match their voice as it goes up when they ask a question, or down when they make a statement, or when they use a certain tone to show they are excited or serious. This is where the at the same time or very shortly after part of the shadowing definition is so important. When you try to speak along with the speaker, you have to guess and follow their intonation. It's an active process of listening and copying right away. You feel the melody of their voice and try to copy it with your own. Over time, this practice trains your voice to naturally rise and fall in the patterns that are common in English. It adds that musicality, that expressiveness, that makes spoken English sound so interesting and alive. It helps you show not just what you're saying, but how you feel about it. Fading old habits, welcoming new ones. Every language learner brings their own background with them. This is a good thing. It's part of who you are. But sometimes, habits from your native language can show up in your English pronunciation. These are often called foreign accent markers. They might be certain sounds you make, or the way you stress syllables, or the intonation patterns you use. Shadowing is a gentle, but effective way to reduce these markers and replace them with English patterns. Because you are always hearing and copying native speech, you are practicing the correct English way of saying things over and over. It's like gently changing your speaking habits. Imagine you have a habit of saying W sounds instead of V sounds, so very sounds like worry. When you shadow a native speaker saying very, you hear the clear V sound. You focus on how their lips and teeth come together to make that sound. By repeatedly shadowing sentences with V sounds, you give your mouth muscles repeated practice with the correct English V. It's not about getting rid of your accent completely, but about smoothing out those specific differences that might make it harder for others to understand you. The goal isn't to sound exactly like one specific person, but to adopt the clear, natural, and easy to understand patterns of standard English. Shadowing helps you do this because it's a direct, practical way to train your voice. You're not just reading rules, you're actively listening, feeling, and making the sounds, rhythm, and melody of English. It's a hands-on method that builds muscle memory for speaking. Let's think about a common situation. My student, Maria, came from a country where sentences often have a very steady rhythm with little stress on specific words. When she spoke English, her sentences sounded a bit like a monotone. She felt people often had to ask her to repeat herself. We started with shadowing short, simple sentences from a friendly podcast. At first, she just tried to repeat the words. Then, we focused on listening to the music of the sentences. We would clap lightly when she heard a stressed word and keep our hands still for unstressed words. Slowly, by shadowing these short clips again and again, Maria started to feel where the natural emphasis lay. Her sentences began to have more shape, more flow. She told me later, "It's like I finally found the beat. I didn't know English had this rhythm, but now I can hear it and I can make my voice follow it." This is the power of shadowing. It helps you learn the very heart of spoken English. So, as you can see, improving your accent with shadowing isn't some mysterious magic. It's a very practical, physical process. You are training your ears to hear the small details of English and, more importantly, training your mouth and your voice to make those details. You're learning to make the individual sounds precisely, to connect them with the correct rhythm and stress, and to give your speech the natural melody of intonation. All of this comes together to make your English clearer, more natural, and more confident. Now that we understand how shadowing directly shapes our accent by improving sounds, rhythm, and intonation, the next important step is to learn how to choose the right materials to shadow. This will make sure our practice is focused and works well, bringing us closer to our goal of speaking with a clear and natural English voice. 3. The shadowing technique. Imagine you are learning to dance. You watch a great dancer. They move so smoothly and their body tells a story. You don't just look at them, right? You try to feel the music with them, to move your body like they do, even if you are a little shaky at first. Learning to speak English well is much like this. The special dance move that helps you find that natural rhythm and sound is called shadowing. So, what is shadowing? Think of yourself as a shadow. When someone walks, their shadow moves with them at the same time and in the same way. Shadowing and learning a language is just like that. You find someone who speaks English as their first language. You can find them in a video, a podcast, or an audiobook. You listen very, very closely. Then, as they speak, you try to say the exact same thing at the exact same time, or just a tiny bit after them. You are not just saying the words again. You are trying to copy their tune, their speed, and how their voice goes up and down. It's like singing along with your favorite song. But instead of singing, you are speaking, and instead of a song, it's real, natural English. This is not the same as just listening to a sentence and then saying it again a few seconds later. When you repeat after a pause, you have time to think about each word. But with shadowing, you are trying to keep up. You are following the speaker's speed, their breaths, and where they naturally stop for a moment. This helps you feel the flow of the language, how sentences connect and move. It is this connection in real time that helps you truly copy the rhythm and the melody of English. Now, you might ask, why is this so helpful? It seems simple, but many things happen inside that make shadowing a secret tool for your English voice. One of the biggest reasons is something called muscle memory. Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, they are all muscles. When you speak your first language, these muscles know exactly what to do. They have practiced thousands and thousands of times. To speak English with a more natural sound, your mouth muscles need to learn new movements, new shapes. When you shadow, you are giving these muscles the same practice, the same instructions over and over as it happens. You are teaching them to make those English sounds, to hit those English rhythms, without you having to think about every small movement. It is like a dancer's muscles learning a new step. With practice, it becomes easy. Shadowing also makes your listening skills much better in a special way. When you only listen to understand the meaning, your brain might miss small sounds or small differences in how words are said. But when you are shadowing, you must listen closely. You are listening for the small details. Is this vowel sound long or short? Does the speaker's voice go up at the end of this part? Where do they put the most sound in this word? By trying to copy these details, you start to hear them better. You become much more aware of the small differences between sounds that might have sounded the same to you before. This is called being able to tell sounds apart. The better you can hear these differences, the better you can make those sounds yourself. And let's talk about the music of English. Every language has its own rhythm, its own tune. Some languages sound like they are spoken quickly and smoothly, while others have more pauses and clear beats. English has a special rhythm, with certain words in a sentence being said louder than others, and the voice's pitch going up and down in certain ways. Shadowing is like learning to play that music. When you try to match the speaker's rhythm and tune, you start to feel where the important words are, how the sentences flow, and the natural rise and fall of the voice. You are not just saying words, you are speaking with the natural tune of English. This is what makes your speech sound not just correct, but natural and interesting. Finally, there is the boost to your confidence. When you are learning a new language, speaking can feel a bit scary. You worry about making mistakes. But with shadowing, you are practicing in a safe way. You are not the one everyone is looking at, you are following someone else. Even if you make mistakes, you are still moving forward, still practicing. Each time you manage to keep up, to copy a sound or a rhythm, it is a small win. These small wins add up, and soon you start to feel more comfortable and sure of yourself when you speak. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria came from a country where the language sounds very different from English. She understood English perfectly, but when she spoke, people often asked her to say it again. She felt shy and upset. She tried many things, but nothing seemed to make her speaking sound more like the people she heard on TV. One day, I showed her how to do shadowing. At first, Maria found it very hard. She chose a short part from a friendly podcast about cooking. She listened once, then tried to shadow. Her voice was all over the place. She was too fast here, too slow there. She missed words. She felt like giving up. The speaker is so fast, she told me, and I sound like a robot trying to sing. But I told her to keep going, to not worry about being perfect. Just try to follow along, I said. Don't think too much. Just listen and try to copy. So, Maria tried again. She made the sound play a little slower. She focused on just one sentence at a time. She listened to the speaker say, "You need to add a pinch of salt." She listened again. Then, she played it and tried to say it with the speaker. "You need to add a pinch of salt." It was not perfect. Her piece sound in pinch was a bit soft and her rhythm was still a little off. But she was trying to match the speaker's speed and the way they said a pinch of salt like it was one smooth idea. She did this for many days. She found short parts of people talking about things she liked: movies, books, travel. She did not always understand every single word, but she focused on the sound and the rhythm. Slowly, something amazing started to happen. Her mouth muscles began to remember the shapes for English sounds. She started to naturally say the right words louder in a sentence. Her voice began to have that up and down musicality. One day, Maria came to me with a big smile. "I was talking to a tourist in my shop today," she said, "and they understood me perfectly the first time. They even said I sounded very clear." It was a small moment, but for Maria, it was very big. Shadowing had helped her in a special way. It had helped her muscles and her ears work together to create a more natural English voice. So, how do you actually do this shadowing thing? It is not hard, but it needs a little care. First, you need good things to listen to. What kind of audio should you use? For people who are just starting, it is best to begin with something clear and not too fast. Think about audio that has a written copy of what the speaker is saying. This is very helpful. Here are some ideas for good things to listen to. Short podcast parts. Many podcasts have speakers who talk clearly and at a good speed. Look for ones about topics you enjoy. Audiobooks read by a speaker. A good speaker talks very clearly and with good feeling. Movie or TV show clips. Choose parts where people speak clearly and not too quickly. Be careful with very strong accents or very fast talking at first. Language learning talks. These are often made to be clear and helpful for learners. Once you have your things to listen to, here is the process. 1. Listen first. Before you even try to speak, listen to the audio part a few times. Just let your ears get used to the sounds, the rhythm, and the general feeling of the speech. Don't worry about understanding every word. 2. Listen and read. Now listen to the audio again, but this time, follow along with the written copy. This helps you connect the sounds you hear with the words you see. You will start to notice how words are joined together. 3. Shadowing time. This is the main part. Play the audio again. As the speaker begins to talk, try to speak with them. Your voice should come in just a moment after theirs, or even at the exact same time if you can. Don't stop if you make a mistake. Don't worry if you can't keep up perfectly. The goal is to try to match their sound, their rhythm, and their speed. Think of yourself as a sound echo. 4. Record and compare. This is a secret weapon. If you can, record yourself while you were shadowing. Then listen to the original speaker again, and then listen to your recording. How close were you? Did you catch the rhythm? Did you make similar sounds? This might feel a little strange at first, but it is one of the best ways to see your progress and find out where you can get better. As you get better, you can try harder things to listen to. You can start with slower, clearer speech and then move on to faster, more natural talking. The key is to keep practicing and to find things you enjoy listening to. Now, even with such a clear method, learners sometimes have problems. Let's talk about some common difficulties and how to fix them. One of the biggest challenges is trying to be too perfect too soon. When you hear someone who speaks English as their first language, they sound so natural. You might feel sad if your shadowing does not sound exactly like them right away. But remember Maria. It took her time and steady practice. It is okay to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are how you learn. Don't let trying to be perfect stop you from practicing. The goal is getting better, not being perfect right away. Think of it as learning to play the piano. You don't play a whole long piece perfectly the first time. You practice simple notes, you play easy songs, and slowly you get better. Another mistake is focusing only on the words, not the sound. Sometimes, we get so busy making sure we say the right words that we forget to listen to the music. Remember, shadowing is about copying the rhythm, the tune, the stress. If you are saying all the right words, but in a flat, choppy way, you are missing a big part of the technique. Make sure you are really paying attention to the rise and fall of the voice, the way words connect, and the natural pauses. You might also pick things to listen to that are too hard. If the speaker is talking very fast, using lots of slang, or has a very strong accent that you are not used to, it can be too much. This can make shadowing feel impossible and make you feel frustrated. It is much better to start with things that are just a little bit hard, but still possible. You want to feel like you are pushing yourself, but not breaking yourself. Think of it as lifting weights. You start with a weight you can handle and slowly make it heavier. And finally, not practicing regularly is a common enemy of getting better. Practicing shadowing for an hour once a month will not give you the same results as practicing for 10-15 minutes every day. Our brains and our muscles learn best through regular, steady practice. Even a short, focused session each day can make a big difference over time. It is like watering a plant. A little bit each day keeps it healthy and growing. So we have looked at what shadowing is, why it works so well, and how to do it. We have also talked about some of the problems you might face. The main idea is that by actively copying someone who speaks English as their first language in real time, you train your mouth muscles, make your listening better, and learn the natural rhythm and tune of English. It is a very useful way to make your English sound. 4. Practice and patience. Learning a new language, especially when you want to sound like someone who grew up speaking it, is like learning to ride a bike. You don't just get on and ride perfectly the first time, do you? You might wobble, you might even fall a little. But with practice, you get better at balancing, you pedal smoother, and soon you're riding easily. Practicing English by copying native speakers is very much the same. It's a skill, and like all skills, it takes time and regular effort to become good at. Think about it. When you first try this, you listen to someone speak English and you try to say the same words at the same time, or just a little after them. This is new for your mouth, your ears, and your brain. It's like asking your body to do a dance it has never learned. It might feel strange, or you might say words incorrectly. This is completely normal. It doesn't mean you're not good at English. It just means your voice is learning a new way to move and sound. You are teaching your mouth muscles to make new sounds, your ears to hear small differences in how words connect, and your brain to keep up with the speed and flow of spoken English. This needs you to do it over and over. There is no magic button that instantly gives you a perfect way of speaking. If someone tells you there is, be very careful. The truth is, this copying method works best when you do it often. It's not about practicing for many hours one day and then not doing it for a whole week. That's like trying to build strong muscles by lifting very heavy weights only once a month. You won't get the best results. Instead, think about practicing a little bit every day. Even just 10 or 15 minutes each day can make a big difference. Imagine you are watering a plant. If you give it a little water every day, it grows strong and healthy. If you give it too much water all at once every week, it might get sick. Your voice and your ability to speak English are like that plant. Practicing regularly and gently helps them grow steadily. These short practice times help you make it a habit. They keep the sounds and rhythms of English fresh in your mind and in your mouth. Doing this often also helps stop you from getting tired or feeling like it's too much. When you practice a little bit each day, you are more likely to enjoy it and keep doing it. Now, let's talk about making mistakes. You will make mistakes when you copy. You might say a word wrong, say it too fast or too slow, or miss a sound completely. Please don't let this make you feel bad. Every single person who has ever learned a new language has made mistakes. It shows that you are trying, that you are learning. Imagine a baby learning to talk. They make noises, they make strange sounds, they put words together wrongly. We don't tell them they are bad at speaking. We encourage them. You need to be as kind to yourself. Your goal with copying is not to be perfect from the very first day. It's to get better every day. Be happy about the small successes. Did you manage to copy the TH sound correctly just one time? That's a success. Did you notice the small break a speaker took before an important word? That's a success. Did a sentence feel a little more natural to say than it did yesterday? That's a big success. Focusing on getting better, not on being perfect, is important. It's like climbing stairs. You are not trying to jump to the top. You take one step, then another. Each step is an improvement. Each small success builds your confidence and shows you that you are moving forward. This leads us to patience. This is a very important part. Improving how you speak and making your English sound more natural takes time. There's no shortcut. Some people might learn certain sounds faster than others, and that's okay. Everyone's learning path is different. You might listen to yourself on a recording and think, I still don't sound like them. That's the voice of impatient speaking. It's natural to want to see results quickly, but big changes in how you speak take months, sometimes even years, of regular effort. Think about learning to read music. You don't just look at music notes and instantly know how to play a song. You learn the notes, the rhythm, how to hold your instrument. It's a process. With copying, you are learning the music of spoken English. You are learning the tune of someone's voice, the beat of their sentences, and the special sounds they make. This takes time for your ears to truly hear and your voice to truly copy. So, when you feel like you are not improving fast, remember that you are building a complex skill. Be patient with yourself. Trust the process. You might also reach what we call a plateau. This is a point in your learning where you feel like you are not getting any better, no matter how much you practice. It can feel very annoying. You might feel stuck. This is something many language learners experience, and it means you need to change your way of practicing a little. When you hit a plateau, don't give up. Instead, try a few things. First, use different practice materials. If you have been copying the same podcast for weeks, try a different one. Maybe switch to a TV show, a movie, or even audiobooks. Different speakers have different rhythms, speeds, and ways of speaking. This can show you new patterns and help you get out of a rut. Second, focus on specific sounds. Maybe there's one particular vowel sound or consonant you are having trouble with. Find short audio clips that really highlight that sound and practice copying just those words or sentences. You can even use online tools that show you how to place your tongue and mouth for certain sounds. Third, get help if you can. Record yourself and listen back carefully, but also kindly. What specific things could you focus on? If you have a teacher or a language partner, ask them for specific advice. Sometimes someone else can hear things you don't notice. The most important thing to overcome plateaus and to make this copying method truly work is to keep going. It's about being strong. It's about believing that you are still improving even when it's not easy to see. The regular practice, the patient attitude, and the willingness to change your methods when you feel stuck are what will finally help you speak English in the best way you can. While regular practice and a patient attitude are the foundation of successful copying, understanding what to practice and how to practice it well will make your journey faster. The next section will explain how to choose the right materials and improve your method so that every practice session is useful. Conclusion: you have come to the end of the shadowing secret. This is a great achievement, but this is really just the start. You have found a new and better way to speak English, a way that feels more natural and makes you feel more sure of yourself. Imagine you have climbed to the top of a hill. You can see how far you have walked. Now you can look at the lovely land spread out before you. This book taught you about one special tool, the shadowing technique. It is your secret helper to make your English sound clearer and more like people who speak English as their first language. Remember, the aim is not to change who you are. It is to help your own special personality shine through with the beautiful sound of English. You already have many things to say. Shadowing helps you say them in a way that everyone can easily understand and like. What have you learned? You have learned to truly listen. You have trained your ears to hear the quiet music of English, its beat, its tune, how words move together. You have practiced using your mouth and your breath to make those special sounds that might have been hard before. You have also learned to copy the natural rise and fall in a speaker's voice, making your own speech sound more lively and interesting. It is like learning to move to the beat of English. The shadowing technique helps you feel that beat in your own voice. This strong secret is now yours to use. Now, the real magic happens with practice. Shadowing is not a magic stick that works right away. It is more like taking care of plants in a garden. If you care for them often, they will grow beautifully. Try to make shadowing a small part of your day. Even just a few minutes each day can make a big change. Find podcasts, audiobooks, or shows you enjoy. Listening to them and saying what you hear at the same time will be fun and work well. Do not worry about being perfect. Each time you practice, you get a little bit better. Be happy with each small step forward. Your journey is about growing, not about reaching a goal that is impossible. As your English becomes clearer and more natural, you will see something wonderful happen. You will feel more sure of yourself. You will feel more comfortable sharing your thoughts and ideas. You will connect with people more easily. Your voice, with all your unique stories and personality, will be heard more clearly than ever. The shadowing technique helps your true self shine through in English. So go and do it. Listen carefully, practice often, and let your best English voice be heard.